Galicia, or Spanish Galician and Portuguese Galiza, pronounced, or in Galician and in Portuguese, is an autonomous community of Spain and historic nationality under Spanish law. Located in the northwest of the Iberian Peninsula, it comprises the provinces of A Coruña, Lugo, Ourense and Pontevedra. Being bordered by Portugal to the south, the Spanish autonomous communities of Castile and León, and Asturias to the east, the Atlantic Ocean to the west, and the Cantabrian Sea to the north. It had a population of 2,765,940 in 2013 and has a total area of 29,574 square kilometers. Galicia has over 1,660 kilometers of coastline, including its offshore islands and islets, among them Cíes Islands, Ourense, Sálvora, Cortegada, and the largest and most populated Illa de Arousa. The area now called Galicia was first inhabited by humans during the Middle Paleolithic period, and it takes its name from the Galicia Sea, the Celtic people living north of the Douro River during the last millennium BC, in a region largely coincidental with that of the Iron Age local Castro culture. Galicia was incorporated into the Roman Empire at the end of the Cantabrian Wars in 19 BC, and was made a Roman province in the 3rd century AD. In 410, the Germanic Suebi established a kingdom with its capital in Braga, which was incorporated into that of the Visigoths in 585. In 711, the Islamic Umayyad Caliphate invaded the Iberian Peninsula, conquering the Visigoth kingdom of Hispania by 718. But after a successful revolt against its Islamic overlords, Galicia was incorporated into the Christian kingdom of Asturias in 740. During the Middle Ages, the Kingdom of Galicia was occasionally ruled by its own kings, but most of the time it was leagued to the Kingdom of León and later to that of Castile, while maintaining its own legal and customary practices and culture. From the 13th century on, the kings of Castile, as kings of Galicia, appointed an adiantado mayor, whose attributions passed to the governor and captain general of the Kingdom of Galiza from the last years of the 15th century. The governor also presided the Real Audiencia de Reino de Galicia, a royal tribunal and government body. For the 16th century, the representation and voice of the kingdom was held by an assembly of deputies and representatives of the cities of the kingdom, the Cortes Junta of the Kingdom of Galicia. After operating for more than 200 years, this institution was forcibly discontinued in 1833 when the kingdom was divided into 4 administrative provinces with no legal mutual links. During the 19th and 20th centuries, demand grew for self-government and for the recognition of the culture of Galicia. This resulted in the Statute of Autonomy of 1936, soon frustrated by Franco's autocratic government. After democracy was restored, the legislature passed the Statute of Autonomy of 1981, currently in force, providing Galicia with self-government. The interior of Galicia is characterized by a hilly landscape. Mountain ranges rise to 2,000 meters in the east and south. The coastal areas are mostly an alternate series of rias and cliffs. The climate of Galicia is temperate and rainy, with markedly dry summers. It is usually classified as oceanic in the west and north, and Mediterranean in the southeast. Its topographic and climatic conditions have made animal husbandry and farming the primary primary source of Galicia's wealth for most of its history, with the exception of shipbuilding and food processing. Galicia was based on a semi-subsistence farming and fishing economy until after the mid-20th century, when it began to industrialize. In 2012, the gross domestic product at purchasing power parity was €56,000 million, with a nominal GDP per capita of €20,700. The population is largely concentrated in two coastal areas, from Ferrol to A Coruña in the northwest and from Pontevedra to Vigo in the southwest. To a lesser extent, there are smaller populations around the interior cities of Lugo, Ourense and Santiago de Compostela. The political capital is Santiago de Compostela in the province of A Coruña. Vigo, in the province of Pontevedra, is the most populous municipality, with 294,997, while A Coruña is the most populous city, with 215,227. Two languages are official and widely used today in Galicia: the native Galician, a Romance language closely related to Portuguese, with which it shares Galician Portuguese medieval literature, and the Spanish language, usually known locally as Castilian. 56% of the Galician population speak Galician as the first language, while 43% speak more in Castilian. Etymology: the name Galicia derives from the Latin toponym Gallerechia, later Gallerechia, related to the name of an ancient Celtic tribe that resided north of the Douro River. The Galleresi in Latin, or Kappa Alpha Lambda Lambda Alpha Iota Kappa Rho Iota in Greek. These Galleresi were the first tribe in the area to help the Lusitanians against the invading Romans. The Romans applied the name to all the other tribes in the northwest who spoke the same language and lived the same life. The etymology of the name has been studied since the 7th century by authors such as Isidore of Seville, who wrote that Galicians are called so because of the fair skin, as the Gauls, relating the name to the Greek word for milk. In the 21st century, scholars derive the name of the ancient Galleresi either from Proto-Indo-European **kal-na-2 hill, through a local relational suffix -ik, so meaning the hill, or either from Proto-Celtic **kali, forest, so meaning the forest. In any case, Galicia, being per se a derivation of the ethnic name Gallicoic, means the land of the Galicians. The name evolved during the Middle Ages from Gallerechia, sometimes written Galatia, to Galicia. In the 13th century, with the written emergence of the Galician language, Galiza became the most usual written form of the name of the country, being replaced during the 15th and 16th centuries by the current form, Galicia. This coincides with the spelling of the Castilian Spanish name. The historical denomination Galiza became popular again during the end of the 19th and the first three-quarters of the 20th century, and is still used with some frequency today. The Junta de Galicia, the local devolved government, uses Galicia. The Royal Galician Academy, the institution responsible for regulating the Galician language, whilst recognizing Galiza as a legitimate current denomination, has stated that the only official name of the country is Galicia.